Follow with a drop kick, landing on his feet, and that definitely electrifies the crowd early on.
Butterbean had one of the hardest hitting single punch knockouts in the history of the sport, with a boxing record of 77 wins, 10 losses, and 4 draws, and an MMA record of 17 wins and 10 losses.
And I think that
There it is.
there you go.
There it is. Oh, that's about it. I mean, that's about it. Butterbean has done it.
But if there's one thing Butterbean didn't stand for, it was cocky fighters who disrespected him, and he made sure to teach them a lesson. When Ken Woods hopped in the ring with Butterbean, he had no idea that he would never see the end of the fight, at least not on his feet anyways.
Here we go, big super heavyweight splash. Kenny Woods at the right side, and as you can plainly see, Butterbean. Oh, good left by Butterbean. He rocks him right off the bat. Approximately 113-pound weight advantage.
That makes a big difference.
Mix it up a little bit. I'm not sure Woods is in such a big hurry to do that. Good right to the midsection. Good left jab by Butterbean. Woods comes back with a left. Good left jab by Woods. And he's ducking away from Butterbean a little bit more now.
Well, I'm sure his strategy is to try to keep away, keep his jab out there, and keep Butterbean off of him. He's having a little success, not a whole lot, but he's doing okay so far. I think he can take you out with either one.
Oh, good left hook.
He got a running start on that one.
Butterbean took the first round rather handily. And he scores with the left. There's Woods with a good right. Well, Woods doesn't care about Butterbean's popularity, not tonight anyway. Oh, good right, he goes down. Tremendous right by Butterbean. Whoa, tremendous right.
He hit his head on the mat very hard.
Look at it from 3 different angles. Look at that. The left chin, left side of the chin. He went down.
Overhand right.
Look at this.
Right over the top, right on the chin.
Oh, and his head went smashing to the canvas as well. Look at this angle, best angle of the 3. Watch this. Lights out. Tremendous power from the 333-pounder, Butterbean.
And Ken ended up stargazing from the canvas floor in the 4th round.
Oh, right, he goes down. Tremendous right by Butterbean.
Not every fighter is so lucky to make it out of the 1st round though, and Luis Monaco never stood a chance.
I think you're safe in assuming that. There is Butterbean. He will race across the ring and attempt to get Monaco down quickly, and by golly, but he raced out quickly, didn't he?
And I don't think we'll be seeing the boxer types matched against him. So there's the right hand. Butterbean may end up having some longer tough man fights than this one here.
Monaco trying to work the jab on the inside. He busted Butterbean with a pretty good uppercut there. And Monaco is built quite well. You can see he's got a bodybuilder's physique. Just the opposite of Butterbean. He lands a good right hand. Oh, there goes Monaco. Second knockdown in this round.
So if Monaco survives and goes down a couple more times, we could have a 10-5 round.
You got to use the jab against Butterbean if you're going to be effective. Monaco, an inexperienced young fighter. I don't know that he has that good a jab. Monaco, not a skilled boxer, as you can see, leading with the right hand there.
1, 2, let's go. 1, 2, jab.
Good night.
There goes Monaco. And I mean, there he goes. Well, that does it for this fight. Butterbean gets the job done.
He threw 3 right hands and got 3 knockdowns. Into the fight, and good night with that. And all along, we didn't see any combinations from Butterbean. We saw him load up.
We never see combinations.
And I suspect that we will see opponents with a higher skill level in some subsequent fights.
Yeah, I'm sure they're working toward that.
But You do see what happens when he gets a clear shot. It's home run derby.
He's a big, strong man. I mean, there's no question about that. And if he hits you on the chin...
After 2 heavy knockdowns, Butterbean drops the much more fit fighter for the last time with his head bouncing off of the rope on the way down.
Good night. There goes Monaco. And I mean, there he goes.
Butterbean was like a steady steamroller when he faced Jonathan Whitfield, and he slowly crushed his opponent into the ground. At first, the fight looked like it would go Whitfield's way since he was so much taller, but that meant nothing to Butterbean.
Face some better competition.
Yeah, he says his technique has been...
For this one, coming down to the conclusion of third. Good punch. Hey, you want to be famous?
He starts to rush in, and he stops. And he starts, and he stops. There's that right hand.
There's that wild swing. Butterbean spike. Butterbean. Now he rushes in. He sees an opportunity. And in his last fight, a marked Butterbean now. Butterbean knows his...
Yeah, but you know, it amazes me because everybody goes in there swinging.
And Ed, you were talking about Butterbean trying to get that jab. So how the jab was a sparring partner, and also Butterbean with 19 wins, 9 from fights.
Yeah, right now Butterbean trying to mash it.
And who knows now, maybe those last few fights starts that right uppercut. Will he survive this?
He just walks right through those punches of Whitfield.
I call it money, I'd do anything, you know. I can be bought. Special added attraction, heavyweights. Your referee for this event, here is Jonathan Spider Whitfield. 4-rounders, Butterbean.
Touch him up, back to your corner.
The jab, and that's so how the jab was a sparring partner, and also was...
Best punch is the right hand, and he tried to set that up there. Jonathan is the right hand because he is naturally right-handed.
In the tough man competition in his last fight, a marked contrast.
He starts to rush in, and he stops. And he starts, and he stops. There's that right hand.
Right now, the Butterbean phenomenon. He says, well, bring him back with them and say...
Tuesday night fights and see the Butterbean contest. Look like Butterbean.
Well, Butterbean with 19 wins, 9 for...
Long arms and long legs. He picked that up. Karate, Taekwondo, and he was a young dude.
Just not busy enough. There's that wild swing. Butterbean,
his left hand.
A tribal nation, and they have enjoyed a fight.
Yeah, right now Butterbean trying to mash him.
Ed Emmerling, the winner of the Butterbean look-alike contest, is joining. And Ed, you were talking about Butterbean trying to get that jab.
His trainer Murray's the telling him, put that jab out, cover there for the fight and the pace. There's a good jab. Drags that left hand down by his waist. See him jab and he would score.
But you're starting to see some spike Butterbean. Now he rushes in. He sees an opportunity. And to hold on around the waist. That's enough.
Yeah, but you know, it amazes me because everybody goes in there swinging.
Always gives 100% in the ring, but showing a little more poise. He just has to get that some more.
Look at his foot feints from Butterbean. He has been out in the hotel last night. Kids were coming up rubbing his head. Butterbean was enjoying it. He loves people.
And who knows now, maybe those last few fights starts the technique that he certainly needs. Will face some better competition.
Yeah, he says his technique has
the second and stalking him. Butterbean now. Butterbean knows his... Butterbean pouncing. Oh, Whitfield gets it. That right uppercut. Will he survive this for one of the legs? He knew he could get it out. Well, Jonathan Whitfield got the end of the second round.
He's on the griddle. A smile from Butterbean as he moves in and right hooks on the bicep.
Hey, you want to be famous? Knockdown. Whitfield very wobbly. That guy is dead tired.
Yeah, Kurt Reeder, Chuck. Jonathan Whitfield said that he can certainly verify that tonight. His fight plan, big old ring, and hit him in the face. And it just walked right through those punches of Whitfield. Takedown. I tell you, Butterbean's had to fight out there and wailed over his opponent. Hits him with one shot in the fight.
Very little offense. To get so much.
You know, that's what they're saying in the corner. He's tired, now you can score. But I think it's But Butterbean has had the experience of 300 fights in the tough man.
For a total of 10 rounds. He has had a busy week. He fought on Friday night. For this one, he's got to work these fights into his busy schedule. Tonight's show, breaking, I think, all bodies. Coming down to the conclusion of third. Good punch.
It's up.
And our local system.
Round 4.
Well, into the fourth round. King of the four-rounders actually did have one 6-round fight. His sound decision over everyone said never again. Sitting here at ringside, the Ron Ed Emmerling.
I called it.
Just getting to it.
He said between rounds.
Right, if he would throw the left hook, he'd knock him down, and he did it.
Good call.
You've watched him all his fights. Maybe.
Hey, they've asked me that several times, and money I'd do anything, you know. I can be bought. I don't think that's
not right,
near enough.
Fourth and time permitting. O.L. Scott, rising young heavyweight. And now Whitfield is helped up, and that is it. Vega stops the fight. That is enough.
Whitfield might not have been knocked out, but the ref definitely saw enough when he went bottom first out of the ring on the final knockdown.
O.L. Scott, rising young heavyweight.
Marcus Rhodes might have been known as Big Tuna, but it was Butterbean who made him flop like a fish in the end.
Surely not going to get worn down, though, at the pace he fights at, and the fact he only goes 4 rounds. But he is, like you say, the fans like him. They can all kind of emulate him and look like him and feel like him. So they say, hey, I like this guy. He looks like me.
As the fans relate to his girth.
Marcus Rhodes came out of Minnesota, was not a bad amateur, had a little bit of courage, but in the big fights I've seen him, he showed some dog. I hope he doesn't do that tonight. He can go out there and fight with Butterbean, throw that left hook in the body like that. He will give him a hard time.
It's a good body shot now. You know, Marcus Rhodes could make a name for himself to be the second person to defeat Butterbean.
Yeah, this is a big opportunity for him.
Butterbean was TKO'd back in 1995 by Mitch Rhodes in Madison Square Garden.
Was a cut to.
Got caught in the corner. In fact, I was at that fight that night. And Butterbean, an hour before the fight, was in the crowd doing some interviews with some local TV people. Obviously not focusing, maybe believing the hype a little bit too much.
Starting to believe his own press clippings. Butterbean's kind of like he's mired in mud. I mean, he just kind of stands there and takes a shot. I mean, there's no question he's a tough man, but can't be considered a boxer per se.
Do you think ultimately Butterbean will fight one of the top fighters, or is he destined to just be the sideshow king of the 4-rounders?
I mean, first of all, how would you sell it when he's fought nothing but 4-rounders? Well, all I know is when people get to move up in the rankings, and get a title shot or a contender, you have to have fought a 10-rounder somewhere with somebody. And 10 rounds to him is out of the question.
Never gone more than 4.
Well, at 341, he's not going 10 rounds.
Of course, back in the days when he was the tough man, those aren't even 3-minute rounds.
No, 2-minute rounds. He's done very well. They've done a nice job marketing. There's no doubt about it. Look at the jab. Even Marcus Rhodes hits him with the jab. The good fighters would have a hard time fighting him because they'd ruin their hands after about 4 or 5 rounds.
When we return, I'm going to get Scott Ledoux's strategy if he were to be in the ring with the Bean. What would Scott do? We'll find out in a moment. Back at the Pepsi Arena in Denver, Colorado. Larry Michael and Scott Ledoux coming up a little bit later tonight. The WBC Lightweight Championship of the World. St. Luis Castillo defends for the first time against the former champ Stevie Johnston. In the ring, the very recognizable figure of Butterbean going up against Marcus Rhodes. And going into the last break, I was going to tell you, Scott, what would your strategy be against Butterbean?
I just move in and out on the guy because he can't move. All you do is move in and out, like Rhodes is doing. Don't stay in there. Get in there, throw your punches, and get out. And don't go straight back. Because all Butterbean does is just walk forward in a very slow walk, to say the least.
Now, you do do you really think that Butterbean has power? I mean, he's got a lot of knockouts, a big, strong guy.
He's got a lot of power because he's a big guy. He's got some mass behind it. But to be a power puncher, it's speed times the mass equals the force. Obviously, no speed in his punches. Just authority because he got so much weight there.
You gave the first round to Rhodes.
Yes, I did. Rhodes out-hustled him, out-punched him. All he's got to do is keep doing what he's doing, not let this guy get off on him on the inside. Now he's got him up against Rhodes. Now go back to the middle of the ring, make Butterbean walk over. He could get exhausted doing that.
Butterbean throws those real wide punches.
Marcus Rhodes has the ability to beat this guy if he wants to. There's no doubt about it. Oh, that's right. Just step off, make him move. Don't let him get set. That's all you gotta do with that big guy.
And Marcus Rhodes has been knocked out by some of the better fighters in the recent years. Tommy Morrison knocked him out. Big Joe Hitt, remember him? He knocked him out. Jeremy Williams knocked him out. Lance Whitaker knocked him out. Vitaly Klitschko knocked him out.
You're talking about guys that got fast hands that can hit. We're not talking about that with Butterbean. We're talking about a big, strong guy that tries to intimidate people.
Shannon Briggs knocked him out, and last time out, Andrew Galata knocked him out.
None of those guys are in the ring right now. It's Butterbean.
Those are legitimate
fighters.
Names, yes, over the last few years. Butterbean needs room to throw. If you're in close, he really can't do much to you.
Well, in close or outside, because either way, his arms are too short. He can't turn on a punch. That's how you get power, is by turning from the waist. You generate speed and power. Butterbean just clubs you. Like that. He takes a big swing, and Marcus just got to watch keep his eyes open. There's a jab. Marcus has got to use that jab more because this guy will eat them all.
So you're saying it's up to Rhodes to be elusive.
That's all he's got to do. Just not stand in front of him.
Rhodes not exactly a ballerina in there, though. And he's really slowing down, and he's getting in the wheelhouse of the Bean.
And he hit Bean with the right hand right on the button here. Oh, Bean wants him to come on. Sure, that's his game.
More of the Bean next. Back to Denver, Colorado. Larry Michael and Scott Ledoux in the ring. Butterbean going up against Marcus Rhodes. Pretty even fight thus far.
Butterbean just ate another jab. He's been told in his corner, I'm sure, that you got to get going because he's losing. He lost 2 rounds.
Well, he likes to eat, but he doesn't like to eat level.
Marcus has got to get off the ropes and move. Got to move here.
Punch stats from the second round. Just 4 punches landed by Butterbean, 6 by Rhodes. In our earlier fight, Valenzuela and Casillas, there wasn't a round where someone didn't land 20 punches.
Oh, I know. They were throwing hundreds of punches. These guys are having trouble getting 6 on. Or landing 6, I should say. Marcus always got
smiling at him.
Yeah.
Butterbean rushing forward. It's about his only move. He has to fight that way. Look at how low Butterbean's left hand is. I think he's trying to invite Rhodes to come in.
Right hand right down the chute.
A big body shot that time by Butterbean.
I don't know why Rhodes would move in there. There's no reason to move in close.
Rhodes is beginning to feel a little confidence. Of course, this fight, as always for Butterbean, is scheduled for 4 rounds.
He'd have cardiac arrest if they had to go 5.
Scott, you know, it might sound like a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Would Butterbean be better off at a much lighter weight?
Well, maybe 100 pounds less. And he'd be a lot quicker and he could be effective. He might be able to turn on a punch. Right now, it's just a sideshow.
Big ripping shots by Butterbean. And it started with the body shot with the right hand. And Rhodes is facing a rugged road right now, trying to get up on his feet. And it is over. So the Bean gasses Rhodes in the third.
And just like that, Rhodes was turned into the guppy on the canvas, while Butterbean looked like the big fish in the ring.
Right now, it's just a sideshow.
Big ripping shots by Butterbean. And it started with...
Butterbean continued breaking opponents and faced Kevin Talon, who ended up basically being a punching bag for Butterbean.
This is his second fight this week for Butterbean because he fought on Wrestling Day. He won a one-round KO over, takes it where the most cameras are. So he can go about it. He's a gutsy guy. He can punch a little bit to do his thing, which is to entertain. And
September the 18th, he scored a third-round deuce. Last year in Boise, Idaho, a 4-round decision again. Was Kenny Keene fought in the main event. Where's the name Butterbean come from? You look at his big chins, and he was over the weight.
Talon is a guy who had a big period from 85 to 97, 12 after having turned pro in 85. The 10th by Benjamin Baker. Yeah, you got to get guys that are not real gifted.
Was more than willing to mix it up with Butterbean. And
if you need anything else, a decision to Andre Crowder, a 6-round decision. One of them against Talon.
And Butterbean, a little head movement. Right hand of his own.
That are going to act like Ali.
Come to the end of round number 1. Butterbean in control. Some counter-punching of his own. Butterbean missing with the right hand, scoring with a left and a right as Talon won. And Kevin Talon, when you see that Butterbean thinks so.
I mean, Butterbean, if they keep jobs to be in the team, to, you know, promote himself. But obviously,
Rhodes did back in 1995 for New York.
Not that we want to be too critical. I see Butterbean putting his hands behind the guy. Obviously, he wants to keep his hands free. He wants to.
Do they sometimes get a little bit overlooked? Is he maybe a little bit?
He's had all these fights. Let's face it. He's 40. What's he? 40. How many fights does he have?
Well, Talon just got knocked, and Butterbean can knock out. And he sends Talon down here in the Butterbean 0 Orange Cole with the count.
Like I was saying earlier, he's got, you do learn. And there are little subtle things he does. He slipped, do those things real well.
Without clean off the mouthpiece of Talon, who is Butterbean. And control in his 4-round to pound the overmatched Talon. 3, 4, 7. Remember, under the unified rules, you cannot be saved by the bell. The round does come to an end.
Listen, don't stay in front of him. That you talked about giving him credit. He gets himself into ring. He switches to the body, goes back up to the head. That's if he stays on him. There again, as he's going down, he's being, no, that's not true. That is not.
Yeah,
he's calm. He doesn't get excited in there with this. Why? Not because he's not in shape, because he would get so better than that.
Well, as you know, the guys, and you know, they're always asking about Butterbean with Butterbean, and it's like, no, it's just not that easy. Basketball. It's not that easy.
I mean, look at to look back on those things. Mark Gastineau, they had him before the guy who was just even close to it. Because he's a football player, it doesn't mean that he's able to go in there and add 2 tall Jones, the great defensive lineman from the Dallas Cowboys.
He gets batted around by Butterbean.
He pretty well, even though of the wide variety beneath. He knows if he misses the head.
You know, there had been some talk about Butterbean. I don't think Shaq with $100 million for a step in the ring and get punched, but some skills.
Yeah, I mean, again, Shaquille O'Neal would beat him because he's a bigger guy. He's a big, strong animal. It's a whole different psyche.
They think he's Michael Jordan at this point.
Ending is because Butterbean's punches obviously are wide, so a lot of time Talon does. Butterbean's pink and got a guy in front of him who's covering up, so he brings the uppercut up. Try to
the opponent in front of him can nail him a little bit, like Funmaker, and Butterbean finishes him off here.
Leave it to Butterbean's nasty combinations to get the job done with seconds left in the match.
Opponent in front of him can nail him a little bit, like Funmaker.
Doug Norris thought that he could keep his distance, but that's not how Butterbean works.
Finals twice before being best fights all the way through, so he fight force him into a folk hero because the powers could be limitless. The Butterbean, he would tie through the ring ropes 5 pounds, a very scary sight.
Yes, in Butterbean's first professional fight, TKO in the 4th round.
And despite all the jokes in the big
comment on that, I'm really not. Right. Really did become
Butterbean, the nickname, and going all over those people raw.
Round 1. In fact, he's landing at any time he feels like. Nice job by Doug Norris here in round 1. That time, Doug Norris got his head in the zone. Butterbean coming forward with some good shots.
And you're seeing some tough man windmilling by Butterbean. He still has that.
He's getting nailed, though, by Norris.
That's not his best strategy.
And I got to tell you, folks, your box, Ron gets the match. We're all going to go in one fell swoop.
Well, as Butterbean was windmilling, watch the punches from the side. This is what you can't do in the pros that you can do in the tough man. And Butterbean pays. He's that
possible. All right, we're heading it around. A very competitive, and just tuning in, Eric Butterbean Edge is a man who there's the punches.
To him a fourth-round TKO. And you see a reason why. He'll outbox him, but then he'll get popped.
They clashed heads, and that's what hurt Doug Norris. I was joking, but that was the problem. Well, it's wild now, folks, and there goes Doug Norris. Plugged with him. He knows that now. It's over.
Yeah, Doug's legs gave up, and he had clearly taken enough damage.
He doesn't even like his own name mentioned. He said, I don't even like to think of myself as Eric Esch. He's his right hand there.
George Clark might be a mountain of a man to Butterbean, but that doesn't help him last longer.
It was more like on top of the head, but it still hurt him.
Clark trying to fight back. Butterbean digging to the body. Down goes Clark for the second time.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Give me your gloves, George.
I'll tell you, I don't want to know what it feels getting hit by a 300-plus pound man.
The last knockdown, fans didn't think too much of this, the second knockdown. There was some boos out there, but the third one, Butterbean was putting it to him. He hit him that right hand, wobbled him. So this is the second knockdown again. We will see the third knockdown coming up. That was just a different viewpoint of the second. All right, remember the 3 knockdown. Well, look at Butterbean. Look at the Bean walk across the ring.
He means business tonight.
Good right hand by Butterbean. Clark trying to fight back. That's it. Clark is down and out of the ring. Fight is over. And for the first time tonight, the crowd has a chance to stand and cheer. And now here comes Butterbean walking across the ring. Good body shot. Missed that one to the head. Gonna go to the body again. Those are booming body shots, and there's the finisher. That one to the head really straightened up Clark, and he was about finished there. And finally, Butterbean just overpowering. Look at his eyes roll up. This man is going down. These were several clean punches, Gabriel.
He was throwing good punches, Rich. He was. He was connecting, landing with the punches too.
That was quite a flurry by Butterbean. He's the knockout winner in the first round once again.
Rich, he looked good. He looked good doing it.
That last knockdown was a tough one for George Clark. He went flying out of the ring, and referee Toby Gibson called a halt to the proceedings right then.
This fight was personal though, and Butterbean almost followed George out of the ring.
Business tonight.
Good right hand by Butterbean. Clark trying to fight back. That's it. Clark is down and out of the ring. Fight is over.
Butterbean started this fight like every other fight, pressuring Jackie until he had nowhere else to go.
That doesn't matter because this is a tough man fight. And Jackie Pitt coming right at Butterbean. And that's what tough man competition is all about. Just what you saw right there in microcosm. Point out they're using 16-ounce gloves here, which they use in the tough man competitions. So more like pillows than what you see in regular boxing. You're going to be able to watch the tough man competition. There's a good left hand from Butterbean, and that got Beard's attention. Beginning on FX next Friday at 10 o'clock and every Friday thereafter. So this is just a little taste of what you're going to be able to see. Butterbean opens right up. Bean was doing a little hot dogging there.
Yeah, they're like pillows unless you get hit with that pillow.
That's right, like pillows with a brick inside.
Yeah.
The end of the first round. Did he throw 80 punches? Well, I don't know. I don't suppose. Well, we're going to get a look at Ardor, who is the man behind Butterbean. It's hard to see any man behind Butterbean, but there's Ardor. He is the guy that is the man behind the tough man competition, the creator, the founder. He does it all. And the commissioner, and tonight in the corner of Butterbean. Well, actually, he has guided Butterbean's pro boxing career since the very beginning, so he's gone over into that area as well, and he's done a good job, I think, in both areas.
Started to say earlier, I don't imagine he buys his shirts off the rack.
This is a guy who's made a lot of money in a relatively short amount of time boxing 4-round fights.
Well, he's a good guy, and he knows how to sell tickets. And he's very serious when he talks about wanting Mike Tyson. He says, Mike Tyson's style is made to order for me. And, you know, in the room that we were in when we were talking to him about it, I didn't notice anybody standing up and saying, no, he's not. Now, he's been trying to call out Mike Tyson. He does want Tyson. He thinks, look, he feels that Tyson doesn't fight more than 4 rounds anyway himself. So he says, why not? Me and Tyson, 4 rounds. That's right. He said we're both 4-round fighters. This is the second round of 3 one-minute rounds, remember. And there's 45 seconds between rounds. And Bean says, come on. It is interesting that Beard is adapting more of a pro style than he is a tough man.
Right, because Bean just wants to punch it out. Bill, did you ever referee a tough man fight?
I did a couple of tough man fights. And the thing about the tough man, you have to be careful because they wild and they swing so much you have to stay out the road, especially guys like Bean.
Bean just smiling through this round. Looking to load up that time. Beard says, no, you hit me on the shoulder. These guys really having a good time with each other.
You know, Bean took out a wrestler from the WWF not that long ago and put him in an actual bout, a boxing match, and Bean knocked him out in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, and he said apparently there had been a tough man competition just amongst wrestlers to see who was the best boxer amongst the wrestling people, and that was the guy that Bean fought.
Yeah, a guy named Burgon, but he couldn't last a minute.
1 minute, non-stop action.
They nearly had a fight a couple of years ago for Butterbean to go up against Martin McSorley, and supposedly the higher-ups in the National Hockey League got a little shaky about that and had McSorley bail out of that. And I think for McSorley it was a good idea to bail.
Absolutely. If Bean would have got McSorley in that ring with those gloves, it would have been. He might have been tough in the ring, I mean on the ice with the sticks, but not in there.
No body checks in this one. This is round 3.
Gentlemen, one more time.
Final round.
And of course, Butterbean is just coming off his 1-round KO of Peter McNeely.
Time!
And that was a no-nonsense fight. Bean, in fact, told us that he really wanted to go 3 or 4 rounds with McNeely and still managed to get him out of there. Bean, no nonsense here. Beard slapping a little bit.
Bill, how much do you think the power is diluted by a 16-ounce glove?
I think the crispness of the shot, and it doesn't hit square and solid because there's too much to hit onto or too much to deflect it. And I think if you get nailed with a 16, you can get out of it.
Beard was just sent sideways by a right hand from Butterbean. Dropped it, and I mean dropped it. Bean's been waiting for that shot, and there was nothing sweet about that. That's it.
And it ended about the same as every other fight, with Jackie on the ground, wondering what hit him.
Oh, the big right hand, and that dropped it, and I mean dropped it.
Butterbean came out ready to show Patrick Graham why he's called the king of the 4-rounders.
Kind of an experienced heavyweight. Nationalistic feel to the trunks in any case. Butterbean with a right hand over the top of the jab of Patrick Graham. And another one, and he is pushing Graham back with that right hand. We have about a minute left to go here in round 1. Butterbean with a left and a right, and Patrick Graham, blood for the nose, and he is rocked. And might be ready to go. Canvas, a clubbing right hand by Butterbean.
5, 6, 7.
On one knee, Graham beats
okay?
the 10
Come
count to see if he can get him out of it. Big right hand, and that is it. That is probably going to be the end of this fight. It should be. And Jagen quickly calls a halt to it. So one thunderous right hand sends
Tulsa. I do it every year along with him. He's a delightful man to be with. It was actually a jab that put him down. It was the jab. Can you imagine that? A strong jab or a hook, kind of a half hook and half jab by Butterbean that sends Patrick Graham through the ropes. And from any angle, it's just as painful to Patrick Graham.
Patrick ended up outside of the ring like he was watching his own knockout from the front row.
He winks at George while you're talking to him, and then knocks Graham through the rope.
Butterbean came out stalking Kenny Craven like a vulture circling its prey before it died.
By a lot, and he will try and use this ring. Don't want to get caught against the ropes by Butterbean, as happened right there to Craven. Now Craven in his last 10 fights.
Bleeding from the mouth is Craven, however. Butterbean is heavy-handed. And, well, he's just heavy.
Yes.
All over the place.
You're safe in saying that. Butterbean smiles and says, hey, come on, let's get in the fight. Comes after him, hits him in the body a few times, and Craven ends the round by landing a big jab, or comes close to ending the round with a big jab to the head of Butterbean. So to mix it up with the bean.
I'm surprised he's standing right there with him. I mean, he's not moving. He's just trying to stay within punching range and exchange punches using his own quickness. But this could be disaster.
Yep, and it looks like it's going to be if Bean keeps hitting him against the ropes and landing those shots. But it's creating kind of an, big right hand by Craven. But of course, he is more of a cruiserweight hitting this big heavyweight. So he's not having the impact with his punches he would like. But this is an exciting match. Big uppercut by Butterbean.
A lot of body to shoot at for Craven, but he's...
So they work at close range. Good left hook by Butterbean. And that, it's dangerous to be in there because those short little punches by Butterbean are very punishable. Now he's got Craven hurt.
Craven's still fighting back.
Well, a bad strategy error in this round by Ken Craven may have been his undoing. Butterbean whacking him in the corner, and now Craven is in trouble. Still punching back, but I don't know how long this one's going to go. Jane 80 says that's enough. Well, Ken Craven gave it all he could, and some of the fans not happy with the stoppage of that fight. I think it was an appropriate stoppage, though. Ken Craven looked like he was in some trouble.
Fighters can only take so much of an onslaught when someone like Butterbean just unleashes a non-stop barrage at you.
Back in Ellisville, Mississippi, Ken Craven's friends and family are saying, stop it.
If you're waiting for one of Butterbean's fastest knockouts, the fight against James Baker would probably reach that milestone.
Shake hands, come out boxing.
He has made 3 appearances already on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, more than any other boxer ever. Popularity is beginning to transcend the sport. I guess Leno knows good comedy when he sees it. But Butterbean looks for the wild, free-swinging brawl. That's what he feels the fans like to see. He is all over his opponent, James Baker, and has him down in the first round. Baker, by the way, 1-5, has been knocked out in the first in his last 4 fights, and this one is over. And now the crowd, Butterbean saw Jeremy Williams with a 10-second knockout, a world record, and he now wants to...
James barely managed to throw one punch at the beginning of the fight, but that was pretty much all the time he had to work with. And that was pretty much all they wrote for James Baker, as he ended up flat on his face within 18 seconds.
He is all over his opponent, James Baker, and has him down in the first round. Baker, by the way, 1-5.
Continuing Butterbean's first round knockouts, Peter McNeely is next on the list for his victims.
Butterbean easy to hit with the jab or anything else for that matter, but he's already wailing. Peter McNeely is not boxing, that's for sure. He's smothering Butterbean. They're whacking away at each other. McNeely throwing left hooks. Right hand and a left by Butterbean doesn't move McNeely. It's his best punch. Butterbean lands a couple of big shots in there. They want McNeely to get off first here. Couple of left hooks sends McNeely back. Gets hit with another left hook by Butterbean. McNeely just standing there, taking a pounding from Butterbean. This one might not go too much longer. And they stop it. With only moments left to go in the first round, Butterbean is the winner. Peter McNeely just didn't do too much toward the end of that first round. Early in the round, McNeely had landed some jabs and a couple of good left hooks, and then Butterbean, I mean, those punches are coming from way far out, and McNeely just couldn't do anything. He's pretty secure, Butterbean, and having this thing well in hand, and after assuring his corner that it was the case, he went about his business to make it happen, and McNeely just didn't offer much at all in terms of offense. And here's where Butterbean closed the show. Jane 80 stepping in. McNeely really not defending himself, and I don't think too much argument can be made. Butterbean continues to throw those roundhouse punches, just about everything landing.
McNeely took so much damage without defending himself that the ref had to step in to keep Butterbean from destroying what was left of his brain.
So Butterbean, McNeely ready to go, and that's it. Jane 80 steps in and stops the fight just before the bell.
Butterbean decided to take his devastating talents to Mexico to fight Tim Burgon, but he had no plans on fighting any differently.
Burgon in the green and Butterbean in the colors of Mexico and the United States of America. And an early beginning for Butterbean, and he backs Burgon into the ropes. Oh, and then you take a look at Butterbean getting the crowd riled up as he waves that right hand and he throws that right hand that comes on. As we take a look at the replays, take a look at Butterbean waving his right hand and throwing an overhand right. Oh, you take a look at Butterbean talking about the heart of Tim Burgon, or lack thereof it. Been content to really just lay on the ropes, take whatever shots Butterbean has to offer. Hasn't been hurt, though, here in round number one. Butterbean in the trunks with the American flag and the colors of Mexico. So there it is. Here's the exchanges we're looking for. Butterbean beginning to open up, and again, waving that right hand, and he throws a wild right hand. Whoa! Butterbean again begins to open up, and I think that hurt Burgon. Burgon is knocked out. He goes to a knee. I think that's the end of the fight. I think it was a big right hand that froze Burgon, and that was it. Burgon spits out his mouthpiece. He still doesn't know where he is. Shot, and I think it may have been that one that was the end of Burgon, and right there you see Burgon covering up. There's a left hook, right hand, left hook again, another right hand, and that would be the end of the night for the Butterbean and Burgon. We take a look at another angle here. Here it is, a jab followed by a looping overhand right, followed by a left hook, then a digging right hook to the body. And from there, that would signal the end of Burgon. And Burgon at that point right there, I think that right hand signaled the end, and some big power shots. Wow, Burgon.
Poor Tim had no chance, and another first-round knockout ended with Tim wondering what just hit him, Butterbean or a freight train.
And right on top of it, once again, the beam. Oh, he's hurting now, right to left. Tim Burgon goes down on one knee.
When Butterbean jumped in the ring with Ed White, Ed tried to throw a jab to have a fighting chance, but that was pretty much the extent of his fight.
Ed White starts him off with a good jab, though, Rich.
Yeah, and a good corking right hand by White. He lands another one, and now Bean starts unloading on Ed White, and he landed a very good body shot. His real name, by the way, is Eric Esch. He was not born Butterbean. Nice left hook by Butterbean. He got in close that time and was able to get within punching range, get that left hook off. Good left hook by Butterbean. Now he tries to follow it up. White actually took it very well, though. And now he gets clocked another left hook, and the Bean coming forward and encouraged by the fans. Bean trying to suddenly punch him, and he does there with a right hand, and down goes White, and down goes Joe Cortez, the referee.
Butterbean comes with that big left hook. White a bit off balance here as he begins to retreat, and there's the left hook again by Butterbean. He was throwing it at will here. White not able to fend it off. A right, which stunned him first, and then the left sort of pushed him into the ropes.
Butterbean comes right to him. Left hook by Butterbean, trying to finish him with left hooks. White in real trouble, crowd is roaring. Left-right combination, White is down and out of the ring. Fight is over, and another cut developed on the face of Butterbean beside.
Well, once again, he gives us everything we want. Here we go to the end of the fight, another big left. Butterbean pressing the attack. Not much that White can do here. He seems to be perhaps out on his feet at this point. The right hand and then the left. Cortez jumps in, White out of the ring, and that's the end of the fight. We see it again from a different angle. Butterbean all over his man. Big left, bigger right, the left again, and Ed White is down, and he is out.
A strong right hand from Butterbean was enough to rock Ed's world, and luckily for him, the ropes were there to catch him. This fight was Paul Springer's professional debut, and Butterbean probably wasn't the best opponent for him.
20. And had to go on a Butterbean diet to make the weight, and it took him 2 weeks, and he did. And he has Paul Springer coming right at him. Why is Springer fighting this fight? I think he won the Butterbean lookalike contest, and he is an APF National Powerlifting Champion.
And he's trying to lift Butterbean right now. I think you can see all those Butterbeans right around the midsection of Esh. There is time. There's a little warning from Toby Gibson about some of the pushing tactics that Paul Springer's using. You know, like most in their debut, Paul Springer can probably give it, but can he take it?
Well, Butterbean used to the 1-minute pace of the tough man contests. And he just about lifted Paul Springer off the canvas. And this
Paul was hit so hard that all he could do was hold on for dear life.
Springer's using. You know, like most in their debut, Paul Springer can probably give it, but can he take it?
Limburger really didn't stand a chance with Butterbean, and this was yet another first rounder.
People do that for a couple of rounds, and then ultimately, of course, he's fighting.
Oh, it didn't take long. Oh, it didn't take long for Butterbean to score. I don't think he's with us. That's it. He's out.
On his feet, he's out.
I have.
That one punch was all it took. One punch.
Butterbean still going after.
He still wants to beat him.
Because he told him he was going to take care of business.
George ended up getting hit so hard that he looked like a cartoon trying to stand up afterwards.
Ultimately, of course, he's fighting.
Oh, it didn't take long. Oh, it didn't take long for Butterbean to score.
Rodney Phillips looked like he might stand a chance, but we all know that didn't work out.
It's so funny.
Again, concentrating on the left jab, Rodney Phillips.
You can see the belly closer than the head, too.
See ya. There was the power. 4, 5, 6, 7. Phillips doesn't know where he's at, and it is over.
Once again, the ropes kept Butterbean's opponent from knocking his head on the canvas, but that's a knockout. When Butterbean walks out with his hands down, you know he's out for blood and trying to end things quick, and Shawn should have never stepped in the ring.
Jagen shaken up by a left hook by Bean. Good right hand by Butterbean. Have you ever seen a greater disparity in the look of two fighters' bodies? And Bean is opening up. Jagen trying to answer back. Jagen, although he's had 8 fights, he just turned pro this year. This is his 9th professional bout this year. He eats a left hook there and is definitely in some trouble. This round obviously seeming very long to Shawn Jagen now. Out of Overland Park, Kansas, and he may want to take the first plane back to Kansas tonight. 6, 7, 8. Mandatory 8 count is told off by Jane 80. Here in the bout, Butterbean coming forward, was beginning to get to Jagen about midway through the round, shook him up with that combination there, left and then the right. Jagen basically went down of his own volition there, I think, to get away from the punches. And Jagen in trouble. As you can see, there's that left-right combination again. That's the one basically that sent him down. That last left was hardly necessary.
Here comes Butterbean in. Good right hand, left hand, down goes Jagen, hits his head hard. Fight is over. And Butterbean has returned to the ring wars with a first round KO. Right hand to the body, followed up with a right hand to the head. Combination left and right, down goes Jagen, hits his head very hard on the canvas. It's a good combination by Butterbean. All those punches landed. Look at the right hand. Look at again the left-right combination. Down went the kid.
Butterbean established his dominance early, but Pat really tried to stay in this one.
They have wanted Pat Jackson to stand in front of him, but guess what? He's not cooperating. Hey, he may have had his own fight plan. Go figure.
With some swelling starts.
And there is a little blood trickling also. We're in round 2. And they told Butterbean in between rounds, Murray Sutherland said they're scheduled for 4. And in this round, our host,
we have a nice crowd here.
Very good crowd. And they are into this fight. Good right by Butterbean. He may have hurt Jackson. His jab's not much. Bean comes in with the overhand right.
He just missed with it there, but it is the stamina of Jackson, which is non-existent. He's a target. Terry Wood better be very...
Well, they didn't find somebody who was stationary, but there's Jackson landing right hands. Not much behind that, and he just reaches out to hold on. Good body work by Butterbean. That's a good idea by him, no?
Try a left hook to the body, then go upstairs. Now he's uppercutting.
The interesting thing, Dave, is he hasn't really hurt Jackson that much with these punches. It's just that Jackson is tired.
Well, now he's throwing the tough man type punches. They told him, get inside, just get the hands moving.
The big fellow in the red, white, blue trunks is called Butterbean. The other gentleman is Pat Jackson.
Should have been scheduled for 3.
Yeah, thank you. We will return for more here in Kenner, Louisiana. Stay with us.
Unfortunately, he walks into the best punch of the fight. At the end of the round, he's separating the fighters. And referees cannot protect themselves at all times the way fighters do it. We've seen referees get hit in the past. That might be one of the most dramatic shots he walked into. Boy, that's combat pay, right?
While Pat managed to make it to the end of the 3rd round, he couldn't keep going, but at least he stayed conscious.
Scheduled for 3.
Yeah, thank you. We will return for more.
Butterbean even tried his luck in MMA, and people weren't sure his skills would translate well.
That I see in Butterbean, James has to be very careful. He's got a nice height advantage, which is great for the jab, but that overhand right of Butterbean's, we know, if that hits, it's going to knock you out. James has to be very careful and keep that left hand up high.
That's a big if, and I think that... There it is.
There you go.
There it is. Oh, that's about it. I mean, that's about it. Butterbean has done it.
Thompson still looking for the takedown. I don't think he's quite aware. It's over. I don't think James realised. Did he realise?
Butterbean has done it. He has stopped James Thompson early in the 1st round. He came out swinging, and he caught Thompson early. It was all over. Grant Waterman stepped in.
Thompson shaking his head, Steve, going, you've got to be joking. What do you guys honestly think of that? Was it early?
Let's have a look. There's the big right that I was talking about, guys. It landed sweet.
Lands it again, too. Right about there. Oh.
It was just a clip across the nose, wasn't it? Oh, it didn't land clean.
Yeah, but he doesn't stop it until... You know, I can see how people might get a little angry that was a little early because James wasn't knocked out.
And it clipped him on the nose. I don't think it actually caught him clean in any way.
James was at the top of the cage there, and he looked up and he said, you've got to be joking. I know Charlie and Paul Sutherland outside were also angry. This is going to be a controversial finish. That's a clip.
Yeah,
that's a clip. And he dodges this one.
He's still fine.
He actually dodged that one, so he knew what he was doing. That first one missed. Let's be straight here. Grant rarely gets it wrong.
It turns out bum rushing your opponent and swinging your punches like a windmill works in any combat sport. Brian Henry looked like he knew who he was stepping in the ring with.
Looking like a southpaw for a second. And he punches it so hard. Good left and right to the head of Henry.
Now Henry knows he cannot be too scientific. He's got to try to get close enough to smother Butterbean here, and he pays a big price, but he is tough. Tie him up. Yeah. That's a good strategy.
We saw him get knocked down in the 1st round of his last fight. and this guy just goes after you and stays right in there, and Henry came back and won. So don't expect him to lay down. Gets a good left from Butterbean, trying to stay up. He's tying up Butterbean.
He's got one part of it right. You've got to try to smother the bigger man. Unfortunately for Henry, he has no room to punch after that.
Butterbean landing a right. Henry just hanging in there. Oh, he took a shot off balance from Edge, but he lasted.
Well, in Butterbean's pay-per-view event last year, when I had the pleasure of seeing him, he looked a little winded by this stage. He looks in better shape this year. Butterbean looking like he's trained a little bit, not getting tired, takes a shot there, backs up. Good action here by Henry. That's the way you do fight somebody with as big a girth and as much power as he's got. There's the family Butterbean.
That is Mrs. Butterbean, Libby. And look at her hands clasping. Art Dorr will call the second round for us, give you a little of the flavor of the building as the crowd here listens to Art.
All right. All right, this is a good one. This is a money fight. The winner here gets to go in and take on the Bear. Who's it going to be? They're battling hard. They're battling fast. Tough men never step back. Tough men keep on going ahead. Tough men keep on punching. Break them up there, ref. Make them fight. Make them fight. All right, cheer them on. It's okay to raise heck in here. Wow, these guys are hitting hard. Oh, my goodness. Cheer them on. Fight on, fight on, fight on. Oh, 2, 3, 4.
Knowing Butterbean as your opponent doesn't help when he has that knockout power, though.
Fight on, fight on, fight on. Oh, 2, 3, 4.
Scott Lindisher was one of the few who made it to the final round.
Somehow, and wait for him to run out of gas.
For this fight, Lindecker trained for 5. Lindecker doing a good job so far. He's circling. He has not come out wailing at his opponent tonight. Dave.
Already in a fight. Likes to go bombs away. He's waiting for Lindecker.
Direct TV fights, but he's holding out for 25 million.
Have had no real power, would be in some trouble because these are clean shots.
Yeah, well, he's doing all the landing, though, Lindecker.
And there's a little nick above Butterbean. Fans are imploring Butterbean here. They're waiting for
10-8. Right,
Doug.
Free Bobby Howard that he's okay. I don't know about that. Try to survive the rest of the round.
If he can't move now, forget it.
Put Lindecker down on the canvas.
Perhaps 7 or 8 to 1 race. And here's his round all the way. And that's almost an afterthought. And Butterbean scores with it. He actually almost squared.
Bean fight Marty McNeely this year. Hockey League kind of stepped in. The National Hockey League. That's
just fight fans.
Lindecker being diet. That's a good right hand by Lindecker contest. He had to lose weight for Butterbean diet, which he said he hated Butterbean, but he ate them until he lost enough weight. Cold. Bam, according to his girlfriend, D.C. Not married. Oh, he wrestled.
We haven't seen a jab from Butterbean.
Another right hand from Lindecker. Wow. I think Lindecker will listen in. Corner wants him to do right. Well, he is not scared of it. That Bean can't bang him to the body and just outstrength him.
What surviving a knockdown can do for a guy too. Courageous. Lies on that. Hold this.
Looks.
Yeah, he seems slow.
By the possibility of an upset here. Lindecker going southpaw.
He is really tired here too.
Exclusive programming packages. Hey, Scotty Lindecker with a week and a half to get ready for this fight. Noble job, and you consider basically he's a cruiserweight, but now he goes down.
He gets caught up with him here. He shows the guts to get up.
Body shots are taking it all out of him now. I would be surprised.
Second stretch in the first round and in the third round, both big moments by Butterbean.
Didn't budge it. Fighter warning Lindecker about watching the very upset. Down goes Lindecker.
He almost made it all the way, but he couldn't go any longer.
Down goes Lindecker. Fight is over.
Butterbean didn't just knock Bill Johnson out, he gave him a personal tour of the canvas.
Popularity, but in physique.
We look at the disadvantage of weight, Johnson and Butterbean, but the advantage that Johnson wants to look at is obvious. Speed, mobility.
Butterbean, for all of his antics and for the way he is, loves to entertain. He's a great people person. He'll mingle and sign autographs and just hang out with anybody. And Teddy, we've seen, you know, over the last couple of years, or at least the last year or so, I mean, he does have a couple of skills. I mean, he's not...
And he has improved.
Yeah, he has improved. Now, he gets the benefit of the doubt in a lot of his decisions. Had that draw in Ohio on Friday Night Fights against Jason Farley. Could have lost that fight. He's had a couple others where he will get the benefit of the doubt, but
right here, he's trying to inch his way in. Here's a good example. He knows his limitations, and that's important to know. Butterbean doesn't want to chase after Johnson and maybe leave himself a little bit open to quick counters. So he's trying to goad his man into coming forward, and he's walking his man. He's not reaching. He's not putting himself in a position where he can leave himself open. He knows that could easily happen if he gets over anxious.
Bill Johnson is making this ring that is barely 18 feet by 18 feet inside the ropes look like a 24-foot ring.
Also, Butterbean knows that Johnson's not looking to throw a lot, so it's not like he's in danger of being outscored. Johnson can't win just by moving. So Butterbean, as I said, doesn't want to leave himself open. He wants to walk in, inch his way in, not leave himself open.
Well, Teddy, you know, this is a very un-Butterbean-like opponent. You know, he's been in against the Peter McNeelys and, you know, all the other guys that we've had him on against. Usually big guys, slow foot, who throw some wild, wide punches, and Butterbean's able to step in and be Butterbean and electrify the crowd. This is not a typical Butterbean opponent. This is a guy that actually knows how to move from side to side.
And sees the weight advantage that you talked about, sees his advantage of being able to move. He didn't get hit there. He didn't get hit there. He acted like a guy who, I hate to say it, but for a second there, he looked like he was looking for a sore spot.
Well, was it ruled a knockdown?
No.
No, it was a
And
slip.
it should have been. The referee did his job. But that Johnson acted a little weird there for a second there.
Teddy, I did so many Floyd Mayweather fights in the amateur ranks, and I worked his fights in the Olympics, and obviously Floyd Sr. spent 4.5, 5 years in a federal penitentiary on drug charges in Michigan, and all Floyd Jr. ever talked about was, you know, my father, when I was a kid, would lift me up and show me the ropes of boxing, and when my dad gets out of jail, I want to lift him up, and I want to be there with him, and we have a bond that's unbreakable, and it really is a shame to see what money and ego has done now that father and son were reunited in the pro ranks and have had tremendous success.
Well, you know, they have a saying in boxing, they have a saying in professional sports or any endeavors. When a guy is real special, which Floyd Mayweather Jr. looked, they say the only guy that can beat this guy is himself. And you know what? That could be real telling. That saying can really fit in that situation.
HBO has made some huge financial offers to Floyd Jr. He has turned his back on them. Obviously, he has his side of the story. Floyd Sr. is here tonight. He worked one of the undercard bouts. But it really is a shame when you know the full scope of the story dating back to the amateur and how Floyd Jr. felt about his father. But right now, unfortunately, professionally, those two just cannot coexist. Butterbean and Bill Johnson going at it here in round two. Johnson spent the first round just walking away from Butterbean and circling left and right. In fact, in the first round, there were only 40 punches thrown combined. Johnson landed 4 of 25, and Butterbean landed 2 of 15. And I almost have to score that round 10-10 based on the fact that nothing happened.
Well, at least Butterbean pressed the fight, so he gets a 10-9 for me. This guy's not trying to make a fight, Johnson that is, at all. but it's Butterbean's responsibility to press it a little bit now. I know he doesn't want to leave himself open, leave himself vulnerable, but it's his job. He's the entertainer. It's his job to do what he just did. Hey, that's not a real knockdown. I'm telling you. Johnson's looking to quit. I mean, get a commissioner here. Get this guy out of here.
Oh, I mean,
that's a joke. I mean, the guy, you can see the way he's fighting. He's just trying to survive. And then Butterbean gets in, lands something on the body, and he goes down like he was shot with a pellet gun.
He got tapped on the upper ribs.
I said it earlier, we both said it earlier, in the first round, he was acting a little strange when he looked like he wanted to fall down, but he realized that he couldn't stay down with that punch because it wasn't legitimate enough.
Well, Johnson does score with a right hand on Butterbean.
Looked like in the first round, Johnson had ideas of finding a soft spot, and he changed his mind. Now that's, I mean, we got Ron Shelton here, the movie director. That would be a shot that you would want on your movie set.
Bill's body and mind gave up on the fight at the same time as he fell face first.
He has to find a soft spot, and he changed his mind. Now that's, I mean, we got Ron Shelton here, the movie director.
Comment some of your favorite Butterbean fights and like and subscribe for more. Goodbye.